OCD setbacks can feel like a crushing blow, making you question all of your progress. But here's something surprising. Setbacks often signal that you're pushing your boundaries and you're growing. Because in this video, I'm going to show you why setbacks happen, what they really mean for your recovery, and how we can use them to supercharge your progress. We'll explore how these challenging moments aren't proof that your hard work is just going down the drain. They actually might be signs that you're challenging your limits. And most importantly, I'll give you practical tips that you can use right after this video. So let's dive right in. So as we talk about those setbacks in recovery, you know, you're making progress, you're feeling like everything's great, and then you hit a wall. So what's going on? Well, I'm going to introduce you to 3 uninvited guests that love to crash your recovery party. First up, we've got ERP abandoner. This is when you stop doing exposures. You know, the treatment for OCD. It's like trying to drive with a parking brake on. You're just not going anywhere. And when you stop ERP, those old avoidance behaviors and compulsions might start creeping back in. Next, we got the medication ditcher. This is when you decide to stop taking your prescribed medications. I always like the SSRIs. Of course, you always got to talk to your prescriber to see if it's right for you, because everyone experiences medication differently. But this is typically what happens. People are doing really great. They're like, cool, I probably don't need to take this medication anymore, which is great. This is awesome, empowering. And many people stop, which is fine. Here's the key though. Stopping medication means I got to do really well with treatment. Exposure and response prevention, that's going to overtake the medication that I was taking. So if I'm not doing treatment, I'm not doing medication, I'm probably gonna see a lot of the same symptoms that I saw in the past with OCD. So not saying you gotta stay on medication forever. Maybe a lot of you don't even take it and that's fine too, but pay attention. Am I really good with treatment before I stop taking this thing? Do I have a plan to do this daily, even if I'm doing really well? Just to remind myself that I'm doing well. And last but not least, we've got the compulsion keeper. This is when you hold on to those safe compulsions, thinking they're harmless. It's like keeping a teeny OCD pet. It might seem cute, harmless, it's not that big of a deal, doesn't overtake my life too much, but it can turn into a big deal because we're saying that OCD still matters. The fear still matters. So we try to get rid of all of the compulsions eventually, not all at once. But you might be honest with yourself. Are there things that I'm holding on to that I'm just not willing to give up? And you might be thinking, Nathan, you've always told me the ways I can mess up my recovery. But here's the thing. These setbacks aren't a sign of failure. In fact, they can be good for your recovery because they can boost you and be like, I need to get this done. I need to do this. You think of setbacks as pop quizzes in your brain. They show you where you need to practice, how you can get better. So use it as an opportunity to grow instead of beat yourself up over it. If you're asking yourself, I need to get back to doing exposures, don't let it stop right there. Actively come up with a plan. Write it down. Here's how I'm gonna do it. I've got it on my calendar. I've got timers. I've got my support people to help me. Here are my exposures. If you're not sure how to even create those, I have that in my online Master Your OCD course. I'll link that down in the description. But it takes you through that step by step with all those worksheets. I often ask people, if you could go back to that moment where you did that compulsion, that thing that you said, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, what could you have done differently? Could you have done an exposure? Called a support person? Sat with that urge a little bit longer? Let's reframe this. Use it as a learning opportunity instead of, oh no, I'm going back to square one. Instead, you're trying to think, okay, my brain's trying to give me a chance to practice something here. I keep falling for it over and over again, but this time, this is what I'm gonna do differently the next time it happens. Because OCD follows patterns, it's sneaky. You know, a thought that happens quite often is people are like, hey, maybe I don't have OCD anymore. I'm doing really, really well. You might watch out for that thought because OCD wants you to think that. It's okay that you're not having lots of symptoms. That's great, I love it. That's what we want. But I call that the clarity trap. Kind of keeps people thinking like, I don't have to do anything. I'm golden. No more exposures, maybe no more medication. I don't even have to like think about anything. But can you find something every day that reminds yourself that I'm still doing great? Whether I'm touching that thing I felt was contaminated, I'm looking at a picture, I'm bringing a thought on purpose just to be like, look how much I don't care that I'm having this intrusive thought. When you're finding it before it finds you, it doesn't want to stay very long. You know what's interesting that I've heard a lot of people say with this clarity trap is they're like, is this what everyone else is feeling? This is great. There's peace, but I don't know what to do with this peace. It's almost like their brain has been so used to this noisy neighbor just being so loud all the time that it's like, I don't know what to do. I feel like it's almost been a buddy that I've had that I actually didn't want there, but now I don't know what to do because they're not there. Have you ever experienced that? There actually are skills that need to be learned to just say, I don't need anything. I don't need the thoughts. I don't need the urges, the feelings. I can be okay with nothing. Your brain might be thinking, why am I calm? Is this normal? There must be something wrong. But that's what OCD's been doing this whole time, is telling you there's a problem when there hasn't really been a problem. So it can get people to actually go check something like, I'm not sure, but let me go check this. Let me go do this old compulsion just because I feel like I shouldn't be feeling peace right now. But you deserve peace. Let yourself feel it. So I want to help you create your setback prevention plan. Because first off, when you're feeling good, great, awesome, love it. But like I said, let's keep those ERP skills going. Don't stop. And when I say keep it going, I don't mean you're spending hours a day doing exposures. It might be just a little thing here, little thing there. Maybe every few days you're doing something just to remind yourself, OCD has no power over me. And remembering that recovery usually isn't a straight line. It's more like a dance. Sometimes you're moving forward, sometimes you're moving back, you're moving around. Days are good, some days are not so great, but it is not an all or nothing thing. Let me give you a few habits that you can try. A 5-minute daily ERP challenge. This is where you face your fear every single day, even if it's teeny. You're at home, you see something that really bothers you. It used to bother you because of OCD. Let me go engage with that thing. Teach my brain, I don't care. Give a lot of responses. Cool, love it. I'm so glad this is still bothering me. Awesome, might get sick, might do this thing, whatever the fear is. Habit number 2 is to change the way we're talking. Instead of, I have to do this, it's, I get to practice this. I get to do something that's really hard. I get to train my brain to do something different. Change the way we're thinking about it. It's an opportunity. Moving on to habit number 3, find a person that can support you. A support network. It's your family, it's your spouse, it's your friends, people online that you've met. I want them to give you high fives. I want you to boast about the things you're doing. No one's watching you do these exposures for the most part. I want you to talk about it. This was super hard for me and I did it. And I survived. Did you know I have a Discord group where people chat about this stuff? I'm gonna link that down below too. Habit number 4, the mindfulness minute. Take 60 seconds just to observe your thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't try to make sense of them. Don't change them. Watch them. Let the noise happen. You can do it anywhere. Cool. Every time there's a commercial break during my show that I'm watching, are there still commercials? I guess there's ads, but I'm just gonna practice this. Create habits. You can create a journal. Write down ways that you've challenged yourself every day. And when you go back and look at this, you're like, what? This thing used to bother me. I can't believe I spent so much time on this. It builds that motivation. I want you to see how far you've come. If you stick to these habits consistently, I feel like it can dramatically reduce setbacks in your life. It's like building a fortress around OCD. We're not aiming for perfection. I want to help you build more bricks for this strong foundation. So go watch the video here on the screen to help you with your skills even better. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Rejuice. These setbacks aren't